Hello everyone, I'm back with yet another video, and this time it's writing time for back to school. It is sort of a back to school video, and I'm hoping that it'll be helpful for those of you that go back to school soon. I personally do not go back until late September, so it's a bit early for me, but you know, who doesn't love back to school videos? I certainly do. I'm so excited every year when they come around, and I'm thrilled to be making some of my own. So this one, as you can see from the title, is going to be my How to Organise Yourself for University video. Bear in mind though that this is not the only way by a long shot. This is just how I did it last year, and for another way that could work, you can check out the blog post that I wrote last year, which I'll link down below, of how I planned to organise myself for university. That didn't work out by a long shot. I didn't end up sticking to it at all, and it just didn't work for me. But it might work for you, so give it a shot. So for this video, I made some notes to myself of just some things that I do that works for me. So the first one, everyone's on about the notebooks versus folders versus binders thing. Personally, I ended up just using one notebook for all my subjects, like all of the subjects in one notebook. And that was all I brought with me. I didn't bring folders, I didn't bring a binder, because you know what, it takes up space and it gets heavy, and I'm like, no, I'm not about that life. I don't have time for that. So what I did to solve the whole what if I get a handout problem is that I put a clear pocket in my notebook. This is the notebook I'll be using this year, but I used an exact same one last year. And I just got one of these, you know, sheet protector thingies. They're £1 for £15 land or something. And then it was a very long and very tedious process, but I got one of these. I tore out a sheet from the notebook, and then I traced all the little holes onto the edge of the sheet protector, and then I punched all the holes and covered with like washi tape before that so that it wouldn't stick. And then I slit all the holes, so now I can just like take the pocket out like this. So this is going to be very handy. First of all, it's something I never have to do again, which I'm very thankful for, because you know, it was tedious and annoying. But also it means I can just transfer it to another notebook and it's all good. And I just slip like stray pieces of paper in there, and then when I get home I file them. But more about that in a second. I'm sure some of you will ask about like, oh, do you have sections in your notebook, or do you have like, what do you do? So I wish I had my notebook from last year to show you, but that's in England, so I can't do that. What I did was that since I colour code my modules, I had a colour for each module, and then I got a washi tape with a corresponding colour. And then I would just wrap a little piece of washi tape around the edge of the page with the subject that was on the page. So if I had a page relating to financial accounting, I would grab some red washi tape, put it around the edge of the page, and then when I was flicking through, I'd see the red on that page, and I'd see, that's about financial accounting. Which meant that I didn't have to divide up my notebook. I just flipped to the next page, as you do with the bullet journal system, and I could just move on. I didn't have a set amount of pages for each module, because I didn't know how much I would write for each module. So this, in general, it just worked out so well, and if I didn't rewrite my notes, this would probably have been a bit of a mess, because then when I was revising I would have to flick back through this entire notebook, and that would be annoying. But after every lecture, when I come back, I type up my notes, because I handwrite them in lectures, and then when I come back I type them up together with any information that is on the PowerPoint slides from the lecturer, or any information from any pre-reading we got, and I gather it all into one document so that I have it all there, and I don't have to, oh, I need to read up on this topic, let me check all these 5 places that I have information. And to do this I use Mariana's note-taking technique. She has a really great video about it, and I'll link it up in the cards, and it's really good and you should watch it because that's how I'm doing it now and it really works. I think it's really great. There's the whole debate about like handwriting your notes versus typing them, but I find that if I was going to handwrite... Ooh, my phone. If I was going to handwrite all these combined notes from, you know, lectures and PowerPoints and pre-reading, like, it would be too much. I would be carrying around like a massive stack of paper. But now I have them all available on my phone even, because they're all in my Dropbox account. So I can access any of them at any point during a seminar or a lecture, which is just the handiest thing. So I handwrite them in lectures and get the initial like retention from that, but then I type them up, and if I have to condense them later then I'll probably handwrite them. But to put it into perspective, okay, for my law module last year I had 20,000 words of notes. No thank you to handwriting them. No thank you. So I said earlier that when I go home I file any papers that are in the clear pocket, and I do this by using a binder. Last year I just had one binder for all of my modules together, and I just had, you know, dividers in there. But if you get a lot of paper, you know, you probably need multiple binders, maybe one per module. I did that during the IB and then I really needed it. But I find that in my university and my lecturers that I've had this year, they don't really hand out paper that much. They're like, oh, check the learning network and read it off your phone. So I didn't really need that much filing space. So I just used one binder and I just pop it in there. Nothing complicated. That binder never left the house because it was too heavy, it was too much, and I didn't need it anyway. And if there was, you know, a paper that I knew I would have to reference later, I'd just take a picture of it on my phone. Easy as that. I'm all about practicality and portability. Because, you know what, I can't be asked to drag around some huge binder or like a stack of textbooks or anything. I'm like, no thank you, that's not for me. For life things, I think that's an important thing to note, that in university, for many of us, it includes moving out, moving away from your parents, and having to kind of deal with being slightly more adult. I wouldn't say you're an adult when you're in university, really, because you're still in quite a special little bubble that's a little bit separate from real life. But there are a lot more adulting included than, you know, in secondary school or high school or whatever. I found that there was a lot more like papers, like life papers that I needed to keep track of, like my housing contract or my work contract. Stuff that you don't want to lose. This year I used a binder for it, and I prefer binders over like expandable file folders for most things, because then you can flip through the pages. But this year I'm exchanging that binder for a file folder, because you don't need to flip through pages when it comes to that kind of thing. You just need sections for each part of your life, like work or housing, finances, life, transport, whatever. I don't know what sections you need. And then I just slip anything in there that's important, that's relevant, they don't want to lose, and then you know where it is, because it's all in one place and you won't lose it unless you lose the entire folder. Try not to do that. I would definitely recommend doing that. That worked really well for me, even though I did it in binder, but I think it'll work even better in an expandable file folder for me. And that's all the things I wanted to cover. I hope this have been helpful for some of you, and I hope that you guys find a way that you like to organise yourself. If you have any organisation tips, pop them down below, not just for my benefit, but for everyone's benefit, because there are many things that I don't have figured out, and I'm sure that hearing stuff from different perspectives can be useful as well, so definitely pop them down below and I'll go through and read all of them. If you have any video suggestions as well, pop them down below, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up so I know. If you want to stay updated on when I post videos, hit the subscribe button down in the description box. I'm sure you know where it is by now. That way you can stay updated, and I also post updates on my life and everything like that on my social media, which are linked down in the description box. I hope you're having a very good day and good summer, but that you also have a good school year. That's it for today though. I'll talk to you next time. Bye bye.